I guarantee that you've never watched a video talking about Mark Grayson the way that I'm about to talk about this man. We know that he's life's punching bag, right? Like, every possible thing that could go wrong in this man's life goes wrong. And it's all because of the narrative, the themes, the things that he's meant to accomplish, and the person that he's meant to be. But he doesn't know that. Only we as the viewers understand that he's on his hero's journey. And that's why today I want to talk about how Mark Grayson is a great example of you manifest what you are, not what you want. From the very beginning, episode 1, Mark Grayson is shown to be kind of disappointed, a little bit lacking in life. He doesn't have his powers yet, and he's starting to question whether they're ever going to come. They do come in the end because it's meant to happen at that time, but for him, it's kind of a late start. And we see the beginning of the season where he's trying so hard to live up to the standards that he has created in his head that his dad has for him. It doesn't help that Nolan Grayson kind of has some standards for Mark and pushes him a little bit, but for the most part, we do get the sense that this kid feels a little bit behind in life. He got his powers late. He doesn't know how to control them. He wants to be a hero like his father. The Guardians just got killed, and he's trying to fill these huge shoes that he isn't ready for. And throughout the 3 seasons that we've seen him, he does this one thing. He constantly reacts to life rather than letting life flow through him. In season 1, the biggest thing was that he needed to fill the shoes of a hero. He couldn't do it though because he had to find his own way. By the end of the season, he gets betrayed by his dad, and that starts to build a seed. It plants a seed of doubt in this poor man because now he's like, the shoes that I've been trying to fill up until this point are evil? And even though I wanted to be so much like my dad, now I want to be nothing like my dad. This is his emotional reaction to the situation. Anybody who has a mother wound or a father wound will definitely understand this. The dynamic that you have with your parents is going to come into your adult life and affect the way that you behave around other people. Because whether you're self-aware or not, you are subconsciously either trying to be like your parent or unlike your parent. I fall into the category where I tried so hard to be unlike my parents. And when I got into my first serious relationship, I realized how dead wrong I was. Because I caught myself in the same patterns, reacting the same ways, and just kind of being frustrated with myself because of that. And I think it's something that Mark is starting to realize as the seasons move forward. He has this expectation of himself that he's not going to be anything like his dad. He's a hero. He doesn't kill people. He stands up for what is right, but he's constantly put in a position where he has to make difficult decisions. And because of the way that he grew up, he often finds himself in a corner emotionally, and he ends up reacting like his dad. Let's take his relationship with Cecil as a great example of this. He constantly clashes with Cecil. And even though you could say it's just thematically, like Mark is very idealist, he thinks in black and white terms, versus Cecil thinks in the gray scale, and he believes that the overall good and saving more people is more important than sticking to a black and white mentality. Yes, that is true, but the other fundamental crash here is that Mark is constantly trying to prove to Cecil that he is not his dad, that he should not be treated like his dad, that he is not a villain, that he deserves to be heard. And he gets hurt by Cecil, making preparations just in case there is a possibility that Mark becomes a threat. Cecil is just covering all his bases and also acknowledging that Mark is a child who has been through a lot and clearly cannot be trusted mentally. His frontal lobe cortex is not even fully developed yet. I would be making the right precautions too. But Mark, unfortunately, can't see things that way. He reacts emotionally to everything that comes in his path. This is why he can't be happy. Dude, even during a fight, he can't keep his thoughts aligned. In the last fight with Conquest, how does he get his leg shattered? Because he stops worrying about the present moment and he's worried about Eve. I'm not saying that that's not normal, but I am saying that you need to get your head in the game, sir. Do you know why you are bringing these experiences into your life? It's because you are constantly emotionally reacting to your reality instead of detaching from it, seeing it for what it is, and acting in accordance to what most aligns with you. To do that, you also have to know who you are. This man doesn't know who he is. Like, he's what, still 18 years old? The timeline, I'm gonna be honest, has gone a little bit bumpy for me because of the years. In my head, he's like 19, 20. Anybody have any confirmation on that? But he doesn't know himself. He thinks he knows himself, but he really doesn't. And I can relate to that because that was me. That was me at 21 when I got into a relationship. That was me when I thought that I was gonna be up and at him once I graduated from college. No. That's not how it works. We have 3 planes of existence, right? We have the 3D, which is the baseline. This is what we see in our everyday. This is where we have the most trouble because oftentimes we think that this is the end of reality. This is the end all be all. This is how things are. This is how things will always be. And therefore, I must react in life and move through life as if the things in my 3D reality are the problems that I need to face. But that's not true. The 3D is an illusion. That's just a mirror. It's just reflecting things to you and trying to get you to look past it into the 4D and the 5D. You move on to the 4D, that's your mental plane. That's where you're thinking all of your thoughts. Thinking and thoughts are a bit different. Thoughts themselves cause no harm. I used to think of my brain as a huge field. Think SpongeBob SquarePants and the jellyfish swimming through the field. But instead of jellyfish, I did imagine butterflies because, I don't know, I guess I wasn't that creative when I was a kid. It was just regular. And they were beautiful butterflies. The problem is when you shift from letting the thoughts flow and suddenly you're stuck in the process of thinking. When you're thinking, the thoughts clutter. So I used to think of my brain as this field of butterflies, and I had a net. Sometimes I would catch a butterfly or 2 in the net, and they wouldn't be able to fly out. Suddenly, I'm walking through the field of thoughts, collecting more and more butterflies, cluttering them. They're trying to fly out of the net, continue flowing out, flying across the field, but they can't. They're stuck. They start to clutter. They start to die and rot and completely cloud my judgment and my brain. This is literally how I used to think. I'm not even joking. I've explained this concept to my best friends. This is how I've envisioned my thoughts since middle school. This is the difference between thoughts and thinking. Thoughts flow. Thinking clutters. That's what's going on in the 4D. Then we move up to the final plane of existence. This is the real reality. It's not the final plane, by the way. I say final because I don't know. That's just what I said. But the 5D is the spiritual reality, and the spiritual reality is ever expansive. This is source. This is where you can actually observe your subconscious objectively and decide your reality. So instead of reacting emotionally to what you see in the 3D, you look within yourself in the 5D and you're like, how would I react if I already had everything that I wanted? So the shift that needs to happen for Mark is if he approached fights from the perspective of, I'm already invincible. I already live up to this name. I already am my own person. How would his fights actually go? I feel like this man would be unstoppable. But because he's not there yet, he's just consistently manifesting more problems for himself. And they're going to keep showing up because he's so focused on what's right in front of him. No, he can't catch a break. And that happens to most of us in life. That's why we crash out. But if you take a moment to sit with yourself, you can actually recreate your reality. Mark can't do that because he actually is not the creator of his own reality. He did not write his story. He's fictional, but you are not fictional. You have the power within you. Don't be like Mark Grayson. Don't let somebody else write your narrative for you because you are not a fictional character. You are not an NPC, okay? Recreate your reality today. That's all. Love and peace.